Screen legend Robert Redford, no stranger to the newsroom, well known for his role playing Bob Woodward in All the President's Men. He now heads back to the news business, this time taking on the role of former CBS News anchor Dan Rather in the new film Truth. Take a look.
General, this is Dan Rather.
General, sir, thank you for doing this. Let's start from the beginning.
Robert Redford, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
This is based on a story that made national headlines back in 2004. A lot of people's reputations were tarnished. A lot of people lost their job. Were you following it closely at the time it was happening?
No. I was just vaguely aware of it. In 2004, I was busy. I was filming. So I was vaguely aware of it, but I knew there was a story there.
Yeah,
and there was.
The basics of it, Dan Rather in 60 Minutes did a piece on George W. Bush and his National Guard service. It was called into question when documents it was based on were thought to perhaps be forgeries. Did you have a viewpoint once you started reading up on it going into making the project?
No, I mean, that research was up to other people, but I think what was interesting about it is that the whole thing unraveled over what was a small technicality at that time that was blown into a major thing. And the bigger story was, of course, the story that Dan and Mary Mapes were working on about the Air National Guard. And suddenly that got pushed away in favor of this small glitch that became the scandal.
Do you want people to walk out of the theater, though, with bigger questions in their mind about journalism?
I just assumed they didn't walk out of the theater.
Just stay there and watch it on a loop
just
over and over again? Do you want them to ask bigger questions about journalism and political coverage and things?
That would be my hope. I would hope that whatever the film does, it would raise a question that has people paying more attention to journalism and the value of journalism, because I think it's so important. I always have. It's been thematic in some of the work I've done. The value of journalism and how journalism sometimes, when politics intrudes on the truth, it gets tricky, and that affects journalism. And I think journalism is so key, so important for our knowledge and our well-being. So I'm big on journalism and keeping it alive.
A couple of things. Was it awkward or difficult to play such an iconic figure? I mean, Dan Rather is known to so many people in this country.
It was tricky. It was tricky because I had the difficult task of playing somebody that everybody was familiar with. They saw him nightly. They didn't see me nightly, and so therefore, had this thing happened maybe in 2013, I wouldn't have touched it. But the fact there was enough time, so he was off the air for a long enough time, then my job was to be careful not to caricature him, but to find the essence of it. So that's what I hope the performance is. It's the essence of Dan without caricaturing him.
I look at your career at this stage. It's been long and varied. Did you always assume that great, juicy roles would just continue to move in your direction, or are you somewhat pleasantly surprised by the fact that you're still getting these opportunities?
I'm pleasantly surprised. You don't know of anything. There's no such thing as continuity if you're an actor. You can't imagine continuity because you don't know what the next day is going to bring. Sometimes it brings a crash, So you don't know what to expect. You just hope. You just keep working along and hope that what you do lands with the public enough where you do it again. That's it.
More often than not with you, it does. It certainly does. Robert Redford, great to see you.
It's nice to see you.
Welcome back. Good to see you.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.